I
Good
will.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is
Okay.
Pauline. I'm pleased to be serving as the moderator of this session, The Mind of a Winner, presented by Anita. At this time, I would like to introduce the speaker. In this session, you'll discover the incredible power of your mind and how you can turn your thoughts in your favor. Our speaker, Anita, will help you acquire the necessary tools and techniques you need to be a determined leader who relentlessly pursue your goals and passions and reach for the top. Anita is the author of the best-selling books, The Positive You, The Positive Us, and Go For It. She is a clinical psychologist with a private practice in Beirut, Lebanon. Please join me in welcoming Anita.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, everyone? Okay, perfect. I'm here today to talk about the most important person on earth. Do you know who that is? Good, I have a good audience. I thought you were going to start telling me it's my mom, it's my dad, or my son, or my daughter. They are all important, more than important. But it's true, the most important person on earth is you. This is not about being selfish. This is not about being self-centered. This is about being the best of who we can be. This way we can be the best towards others. Today, I want to talk about every aspect of you. You in your relationships, you at your job, you perhaps with your neighbors, your friends, but most importantly, you with yourself. Because the relationship you have with yourself is the most important. Your mind, your behavior, your attitude. As you all know by now, I am a clinical psychologist. And one of the privileges of being a psychologist, of course, besides the fact that people pay huge amounts to tell me their deepest secrets, one of the biggest privileges is that I get to see the real person. They are not there on that couch to pretend or to impress me. They are their true selves. They're not afraid to show me their weaknesses. They're not worried about to tell me about their worries, their fears. They are there without their masks and pretenses. They are the true selves. Hours upon hours of listening to these clients, I realized something. I realized that it all boiled down to one thing, and one thing alone. 6 little words, and those were, it is all up to me. All those cases had one thing in common. It did not matter what was happening in the life of that individual. What mattered only is how they took it. You see, we tend to blame so many things in our lives, especially our failures. We tend to blame our parents sometimes, our education system, sometimes even a nasty teacher back in high school. They somehow find a way to come back into our memory. We complain about our bosses or our nagging clients. We sometimes even blame ourselves unjustly, thus handicapping all our efforts for success and progress. But I'll tell you, it is all up to you to make it right, to have it right. It is all up to you to be the happy person, the successful person. Because everything out there will always be a challenge. There's always going to be the environmental things. However, in the core and the center of all that is you. If you are solid enough, if you are positive enough, then you can make it. How many of you actually believe that? Okay, I have a good audience. How many don't believe? Because I can't see through the lights. How many don't believe? Wow, I'm so impressed. No wonder. I'm sure most of you are 5 years and more in the industry, because only the optimists can make it in this industry. Only the ones with a positive mind can survive. It's a well-known fact that the first 6 months, most of the new agents, they just give up, because this is not the industry for people who are always seeing the pessimistic things, who are not expecting the good, who are not believing in their dreams. I'll tell you what I believe in. I believe, just like you do, most of you, from what I see, that we are the architect, we are the designer, we are the programmer of our own lives. And through our minds and our thoughts, we can make everything possible. This is a subject I'm most passionate about. This is a subject which gets me going. It wakes me up every morning. This is the subject, this is the reason why I flew like 25 hours from home to hotel, 6,787 miles. I changed 3 planes to be here today to tell you that it is all up to you. It's all up to your attitude. It is all up to you to make your dreams and make them come true. Don't let anyone take that from you. And today I will give you the right tools. We all have doubts sometimes. When they come and creeping, it scares us. I'll give you the tools of how to be the positive thinker, how to believe in oneself, how to get into the mind of the winner. I'm sure the title was very, very interesting and attractive for you. Everybody wants to get into the mind of the winner. We all want to be winners. Nobody hates failure. Nobody likes to lose. And we start thinking, some people actually have made it and they're really on top of things all the time. How do they keep it up? How do they manage to get up and stay there? Are they born that way? Did they acquire it in a different way? What is their secret? What keeps them going? Their enthusiasm, their vigor. What is it that keeps them going? We all ask these questions, but some of us, we don't know the answers. Let's get into the mind of the winner and discover how it is that they truly think. You're going to help me out here. I will try to make the next 45 minutes as fun, educational, and motivational as possible. But I will be needing your help, okay? Good. Now, we have what we call in life facts, right? Like everything. Like if I asked all of you, you would agree to that it's a fact. Like the world is round, right? Even though that, even for centuries, it was believed to be flat. So, I want to start with facts and interpretations. Interpretations are the subjective way we look at things. That means our point of view, our attitude, okay? So, can you all see that? Facts and interpretations. Let's start with facts. The world is a beautiful place, right? Huh? No, that's not a fact. That's an interpretation. Let's start with facts. Give me a fact. Gravity. Okay, gravity. I'm not good with science, of course. That I'm doubting that soon it will stop because we're being very bad. Okay, that's a fact. The sun rising, sunrise. Other facts. There's one fact here that my stocking is going down. Sorry, I have to fix that. Please think about facts. sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, tell me. Fact. Women give birth. That's changing too. You're wearing a white dress, but that's also, sometimes we're colorblind. We don't see the same colors. What makes you think that's white?
We are going to die one day.
We're going to die one day. That's not a fact. Maybe physically you will die, but in different ways you would still be, transferred to something else. You'll be somewhere else. Physical death is not really death. You are here. Somebody said you're here. Yeah, we're all here. That's great. You need? Insurance. That's a fact? No. That's an interpretation. Until Galileo came, before that it was flat. So anyway, I know we're having fun, but we have to stop this. As you can see, before we can assume something as a fact, before we can say something is a sure fact, we think a lot. Because most of the things in life, especially things that we deal with every day, are interpretations. It means it's our personal point of view. It's part of our beliefs. It's part of our attitude. It's part of what we are used to. Now, the tricky thing is that most of the time, we treat our thoughts as facts, right? And we dwell on it, and we make a big deal out of it, and we get sad about it, and we get depressed over it, and it's only an interpretation. It's not even a fact. It could be a different explanation to that. And I will explain that in a good way, if only we can have it clean. Please. Does that show? Okay. All right. You like it so far? Okay, good. Because you have to be involved. And please, if you will be taking anything out of this session, I want you to get the next theory. It's not a theory. We call it in psychology the ABC model of thinking. It's like the ABC. It's like the alphabet. It's the most important way of thinking. It's very simple, and yet it's so effective. If you can just learn this technique, it will help you in every way. So, first we have in life events, right? We have from the major events, like we lose a job, or our significant other leaves us, or something major, to the most minor events, which happen daily. We get stuck in a traffic jam. We get certain minor problems with a colleague. So, from major events to small events, every minute we have things happening in the environment. After the events, we get a thought about the event, right? We think about the event, right? After the thoughts, we get the feelings. And from the feelings, we act. I will give an example. You're leaving the house in the morning, and you spot your neighbor, and all of a sudden you feel he does not say hello. He just turns around and he goes without saying hello, right? The event is no hello. Thoughts. What would be the first thought that comes to your mind? He's angry at me. He must be still angry at the loud party we had last night, or because we did not invite him and his wife. So we start thinking negative thoughts, right? That's human. That's what we do first. First we think of negative things. So we're thinking negatively. When I think negative, what's next? I start feeling negative. If I'm thinking that my neighbor is angry at me or upset at me for something, I may be a bit anxious or worried or sad. Next thing that happens, I'm driving my car to work, and I'm start thinking, what could it be? Why is it so? So I pick up the phone, perhaps I call my husband. I think the Northers are angry at us. I took an action based on what? On a thought which is not even real. It's just my interpretation. It's not a fact, right? Okay, so I do the action and I'm all still thinking about it. The next event that happens is perhaps I reach the office and there is like a colleague who comes with a minor issue, okay? My thoughts, perhaps it's a cancellation of something I was expecting. My thoughts, here it goes. This is one of those days, it's not going well. I lost an hour. Feelings, more angry because I'm already in a negative mode. Action, perhaps I snap out at the poor guy. The next thing that happens, I receive a phone call, which is a very neutral event, right? Normally, we're not upset with a phone call, but in this case, because I'm already in the negative mode of thinking, it's adding up on me. So my thoughts are negative, my feelings are negative, and my actions are negative. This is what happens when we start losing consciousness, awareness of how our thoughts, which are only interpretations of something else, are affecting our feelings and actions. Let's reverse this. Let's suppose I saw my neighbor and he did not say hello. My thoughts, it could be neutral. You see, maybe he did not notice me. Perhaps he was not wearing his contact lenses. Maybe he was in a hurry. This is a neutral or a positive thought, right? What would be my feelings? Neutral. Would I bother calling anyone and reporting that? No. So, the next thing that happens, once again, what happens is, I want you to know that we have no control over events. Things will happen. This is outside ourselves. You see, we may lose our job. We may get sick. We may get whatever. What happens, we have no control. The control that we have is in our thoughts, how we take it, in what way we interpret. This is the key, and I'll tell you why we humans, we think in this way. Because in our thoughts, even though I told you you are the most important person on earth, but the universe doesn't go around you. Not everything, the cause of it is you. So you should not take things personally. This is what we call in psychology depersonalization. Meaning, when I'm thinking, not every problem, the solution, the reason is me. There could be different alternatives. In other words, my neighbor did not say hello because of him. He couldn't see me. He was in a hurry. He's not wearing his contact lenses. All of those. So it has nothing to do with me. So I remove myself from the situation. This is where it explains when your friend tells you a problem, you're perfectly capable of telling them objectively the solution. But when it comes to your own problems, you always put your own emotions. And this is why we get emotional and we think with our person. And this is why most of the time we jump from events to actions without even processing in our thoughts. Because we think, okay, this is it, I know it, this has happened before, this is the answer. Does this ring true to you? Of course. Can you think of an event which happened to you in any way? And by simply changing your thoughts, you could change the outcome. Of course, every single minute it's happening to us. This is how it is. Let's suppose somebody lost their job. Event is losing the job. The thought, it could be negative. Oh my God, I'm not good. What am I going to do next? Feelings, feeling sorry for oneself. Action, going home and closing on oneself and sitting in one room. Let's take the same thing. I lost my job. Thoughts, perhaps I'm not really good at it. Maybe I should search for something else. Feelings, fine, I will work on it. Action, I will actually look out for something else. So it is all in our thoughts. Our thoughts have the power to control our lives. So beware of your thoughts. Beware of how you're taking them. Now you will be telling me, but Anita, is it possible that it's always about positive thoughts? Is it even healthy? Isn't that denial? Yes, you're right. I'll tell you something. Negative thoughts or thoughts which put questions are just as important. I'm not denying those. But the question is how long we carry them and what do we do about them? Let's play this little game. You all have mobile phones, don't you? Right? Can you take them out? All of you, but don't check your messages. This hour is for you. Mobiles, you have them. It's already in your hands, it seems. You've been cheating, haven't you? All right, can we hold it up? All of you. It's all lit. You've been checking. You see? I was right. Okay, keep them up. No, no, no. Keep them up. You don't take it down until I tell you so. Please. All right? Is everybody? Okay. Now, I want to go to the next idea. Perlene, if we can just clean the board. You stay. Oh, you're cheating. Hands up. I'll tell you when to take it down. Please, let's do this. It will help you. It's for your own good. Your mom used to tell you that. Okay. Now, the next thing is the mind of the winner. What is it that they think? How is it that they think? I'll tell you one thing. First of all, they love themselves. They're so full of themselves. They're so proud of themselves. They have positive self-talk, what we call in psychology, positive self-affirmations. Okay, the hands are shaking. People are starting to hate me. Keep it up, please. All right? So, positive people, leaders, winners, they have this little voice inside, which all the time is talking to us. It's positive. It's always good. They're not telling themselves they're stupid. They're not telling themselves that they cannot make it. Okay, hands down before you hate me. Okay, I'll tell you what. Your thoughts are like that. The longer you hold it, the more it will bother you. The more it will take over you. It will consume you. Thoughts are heavy. You think for a few minutes, it's fine. You're holding your hand up for a few minutes, it's fine. You hold it for an hour, it starts getting numb. And you hold it for a day, it becomes paralyzed. Don't do that to yourself. These are your thoughts. The longer you keep them without finding solutions, at the end you will find yourself paralyzed. You will remember this exercise, won't you? Because you got involved physically and it hurt, right? Some of you cheated. Don't you think I don't see that? I saw you. Okay. So, coming back to the mind of a winner. There is this little voice inside. All the time, it talks to us, right? Here, I'm not talking about this positive affirmations like, oh, I'm beautiful, saying it 200 times, like some positive thinkers tell you. You have to repeat the same sentence 200 times. No, that's not what it's about. It's not about also saying, I'm intelligent, I can do it 500 times. It's not about that. It's consciously being aware of who you are, of your strengths and your weaknesses. The winner is not afraid of their weaknesses because they take them as challenges. They don't take them as permanent traits that we cannot change. They work on them. I'll tell you something. I'll ask you something, actually. How many of you check yourselves in the mirror in the morning before you leave? How many? All of you. I should have done that more today. I'm sorry. I should have stayed longer in front of that mirror. It's just the mirrors were not that good. I didn't like, no, it's going down. All right, yesterday I was listening to Ty Bennett and he was saying, it's not supposed to be perfect, your presentation. What's important is that you get the message through and the audience is happy. So I hope you're happy and it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So, thank you. So we all check ourselves in the mirror. I should do that more, especially when I'm abroad. How many of you check your attitude before you leave the house? That's nice. That's why I love Tony. Yes, the way we check ourselves in the mirror, we have to check our attitude. Are we in the right frame of mind? Because if you're going to that meeting, perhaps you've done all the preparations and you know everything how to say from A to Z, But if you don't have the right attitude, if you haven't spoken to yourself in a positive way, if you haven't really charged up yourself, all the preparations in the world will not help you. You need to wear the right attitude before you walk out that door, before you face the world, before you go into that big meeting, before you go into that important date. The right attitude, because that is a choice. People, don't forget this. It's a choice. It's not like, oh, I was born that way. Stop throwing everything at your birth or your parents. It's your own personal choice. It's people who lose or who are only finding excuses. They throw it on something else. Take personal responsibility of your lives, because this is what it's about. It's not where you come from. It's where you're going. It's not what was. It's what will happen. It's all about getting into the right mindset. I'll tell you one thing. Winners believe in this. And winners, they have that attitude. They're confident. They're sure of themselves. I'll tell you a little incident which happened with me. And perhaps my talk today is geared towards the younger audience among you. Because the ones who have already made it on top of the table, the ones who have been already 5 years in this industry, they are already all the things I'm saying, I'm sure of it. One look at them and I recognize them, who they are, how they think. I'll tell you a little incident which happened with me. A couple of days ago, I was at the Hilton, that's where I'm staying, and I was in the elevator going down to the breakfast room. And there was this gentleman, 50 or above, I don't know. And he was wearing one of those badges that you all have, which reaches down to the floor sometimes. Be careful you don't step on them. And I was like shy, you know, hiding mine as a speaker. It's so small and tiny and like, you know. And then he tells me, oh, you're a speaker. I said, yes. He says, what would you be talking about and when? I told him, I'll be talking about the mind of a winner. And guess what he answered? Remember, he's 50 plus. He's been in the industry minimum 20 years. You know what he answered? Oh, you'll be talking about me. Why am I not surprised? He is the typical person who has been in the industry, and because of his attitude, he's made it that long. I didn't have the time to really check. You know, you have certain levels, right? Top of the table, I don't know, you know them. I'm beginning to like it, by the way. I'm thinking of joining you guys. I'm joking. I won't be competitors, no. I won't compete with you, you're too good at what you do. No, but trust me, let me tell you this little thing, which is a part of this. The first time I heard of MDRT, I was on my way to a vacation, Easter vacation. And someone called me and told me, Anita, please, you know, we want you to talk. We have a day, MDRT day in Beirut. And I said, what is that? He said, the $1 Million Round Table. And I have to admit, I love the name, and I went for it. I didn't know what it was, but the name struck me. And I couldn't be more grateful to know you all guys, really. That was the introduction for all of this. Back to the mind of the winner. So far, what we said, winners are positive, they have good high self-esteem, they see themselves as conquerors. Third point is, the most important is, they are persistent, and this is what gets them going. Persistence is the key in your industry. Actually, Martin Seligman, he was one of the first ones, he's the father of positive psychology. He's the one who came up with the ideas. And the insurance sales people were the ones who brought up all of the positive psychology idea. It was during the 80s. I'm sure you've heard of the story, right? No, you haven't heard. That's a very interesting story. What they found out, to tell you very fast, and make a long story short, what they found out was that the company was losing money, MetLife was losing money because they were hiring people, training them, and then before like 6-7 months, they were out and they were losing money. So they started studying who are the people who are actually making it. And it wasn't their education, it wasn't even their motivation. What was the factor which was making the people who were on the top was their optimism, was their persistence. Because time, after each cold call, and after each disappointment, it only took persistence to continue. This is what it took. We have to add on the traditional wisdom of education, motivation, having the good spirit. We have to add to that a lot of optimism, because optimism is the key in your industry. You agree with me? I'll tell you this little anecdote, which I've shared in one of my books. This is about tiny little frogs who were having a competition. I know it's funny, but listen to the end of the story. There was a huge tower, and they were all trying to go up to the top of the tower. And of course, some of them were falling, and it was getting very dangerous to reach the top. And the ones who were down were screaming up to the ones who were trying to go up, please go down, you'll fall, you'll hurt yourselves. And at the end, most of them failed and they fell down. There was only one who kept going and going and going. And he made it to the top. And everybody was astonished, what's going on? Who is that tiny little frog? How courageous, how can he do that? And when he finally made it down, they all went to him to find out who he is. And guess what? He was deaf. He could not hear. Yes. Yes. Sometimes you have to hear your heart. You don't have to hear to people who tell you can't do it. You know what Einstein said? He said, I'm grateful for all those who said no to me. Because of them, I made it. So listen to you. And when your mind is positive and it's quiet, that's when you will be able to listen to you, to yourself. When you are always listening to others, you won't get it right. Be in touch with yourselves. You have a whole universe inside of you. Trust me on this. When I chose psychology as a major, my mom was against it. Sorry, Mom. When I chose to write my first book, some of my best friends told me, what, you're writing a love story? It was a self-help book. It's a positive you. When I chose to, drive, even then, some people will find anything to tell you. Don't surround yourself with these people. These are dream killers. Just shield yourselves. Believe in who you are. Listen to yourself. Listen to your minds. You can do it. It is all up to you. Because nothing can really invade you if you don't allow it. This is your strength. Don't give it away. You are unique, and each one of you has amazing gifts. I'm sure of that. Coming here was worth it. Every second. What I didn't tell you in the beginning is that I have a huge fear of connecting flights and big airports. And usually I do not travel alone. My husband accompanies me. And this time we couldn't because he had some other things to take care of. And it was a big challenge for me to do those 6,787 miles. It was a huge challenge for me to make those connecting flights. I even went wrong in Charles de Gaulle. Don't tell no one. I took the wrong bus. Ended up in the wrong gate. But I made it here. I made it here to tell you it is all up to you. I made it here to tell you that it is through your mind you decide how to live. I made it here to tell you that your mind controls your attitude, your life, and your world. Because what is inside of us, this is how we see the world. If we are positive, we see the world beautiful. If we are negative, we see the world as nothing but black and bad and dirty. We talk about people. No, people are not bad. There are so many better people, good people than bad people. It's all in us. It's how we train to see. It's what we focus on. You focus on success, you will get success. You focus on negativity and losing, you will get that too. It is up to you. Trust me, it is all up to us. I want you to believe that. I know you believed that from the start because I asked you and you said yes, but still. Pass that to everyone you see. Positivity is contagious, and we lose nothing by making others better. We gain a lot by seeing people around us thrive. This is what it's about. It's not about just me, it's about all of us. Because it takes each person to make a better world. And I believe in that too. It's unfortunate that we only concentrate, the news concentrates on the negative. We don't talk about all those people who try to do the good. We're only talking about the bad. So it is all up to you to see that. It's all up to us to change that. Please, let's say together, it is all up to us. It is all up to us. It is all up to us. And thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Testing. Mic test.
Not working? You need that? Okay.
We would like to open the floor to any additional questions now. If you have any questions or comments for Anita,
Test.
please approach the microphone in the aisles and limit yourself to just one question.
Hey, Anita. Duncan from Vancouver. So you seem to be a pretty positive person, and I'm sure you've had no challenges in your life at all. But just give us one challenge where that self-talk was really going at you hard and what it meant to you to get through that. Does that make sense?
I didn't get the last part, I'm sorry.
So a tough time in your life. How did you get through that?
Oh, I've had many.
Okay, just
it's
one.
It's not that it's been an easy transition.
Just one.
No, I've had so many challenges myself, and it's only through positivity that I was able to come through. And I have seen that time and again with my own clients. It's always about the way they take things. Because the same situation can happen to two different people, and the way they react to it is what makes a difference. Any more questions?
Anita, this is, we keep talking about this, कि positive attitude is must.
Give us your
we
name,
should,
please.
I'm Narendra from India,
And where
Pune.
you're from?
From India. We keep talking about this, कि we need to be positive, we need to be positive. Then why it is time and again we get into negativity. Again we need that feeding, again we need that motivation, again we need to be coming back to that positivity. Why it's happening?
No, I didn't get it.
Every year, every lesson, every session, we keep listening about. When we are inside, we think, okay, positivity is must.
Yes.
But again and again, the negativity keeps coming us.
Oh, you mean to
So
say...
why do we need that? Why it can't be registered? How it can be registered permanently?
Because you see, this is something you need to work on. We need to train ourselves because negativity, it's part of survival, to be honest. This has been passed on to us from the times we lived in the caves. We are ready to see threats. We are ready to see that lion approach. So some kind of negativity is needed for us to survive, to see the bad things. However, when we use that excessively in our lives, when we keep constantly worrying about things which will not even take place, we are killing our joy. We are killing our dreams. This is why it takes conscious awareness. If I had to explain physiologically what happens in our mind, the processes of thinking are engraved. We have nervous pathways which are engraved, and we do things automatically the way I was explaining here, from events to actions. What we need to do, we cannot erase those neural pathways. What we need to do is create new ones, which are more positive. Because how can a winner be if their mind is telling them that they won't win? How can it be that they can achieve something if he's constantly self-doubting? You need to trust yourself for others to trust you. You need to believe in yourself for others to believe in you, especially in your industry. If you're hesitant, if you're not sure of yourself, how will your client trust you? If I was standing up here full of self-doubt, why would anyone listen to me? It's all about confidence. It's all about being sure of yourself. And being sure of yourself comes from concentrating on your positive traits. It starts from us. It starts from within. And then it reflects outside. Because if I'm good with myself, I'm good with others too. Those people who are nasty, those people who are hurtful, they are hurting themselves inside. They have the negative. If those people tell you can't make your dreams come true because they are afraid of their own dreams, you get me? This is why it all starts with us, inside of us. It is all up to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stephen Ashton from the USA. I think, appreciate your comments on being positive. What are some exercises that we can do individually to help train our mind, like you spoke about, to making sure that we're seeing things in a positive light?
Of course, what we can do is always give different alternatives, and we remove our person from the situation. When we see things objectively, we see them more as what they are, rather than involving our emotions. Other exercises could be everything that we are grateful for. There is one thing which I didn't mention. In our lives, this is the circle. All the white parts are the good parts. And we have the sum of the problems. What we do is we forget all the positives and we concentrate on the problems to an extent that we don't see the good anymore. This is your mind when it's worrying and it's concentrating on the small issues. That's what your mind becomes. It consumes you. It consumes your whole existence. Don't do that. Give each problem the attention it deserves and the solution it deserves. But do not go doing that. Do not go holding the phone like that, your thoughts like that. Thank you.
Anita, Tony Gordon from the UK.
As if we don't know.
Anita, how do you get this positivity to those closest to you, to your children? How do you help your children to see the positive in life? And even your grandchildren, you don't have any yet.
Tony, it's all about walking the talk in actual fact. Because if we preach it and we don't actually live it, it's for nothing. And I'll tell you this little story that happened with my husband and I. We were in a small boat, one of those speedboats he had bought. It was the first few years of our marriage, the crazy times, no children. And somehow we got stuck in the middle of the Mediterranean, but still, it's an ocean, it's scary. And I was there laughing out loud. I told him, oh, we're gonna sing, and I'm joking, you know, and he was so serious. Anita, why are you laughing? We're gonna hit the rocks. It's scary, it's getting dark. And we were literally in the same boat, and I was laughing and taking it in a funny way, and he was so worried, which is typical him. And at the end, out of the blue, I don't know, out of the blue, and they came starting pushing the boat away from the rocks. And later on, we saw a fishing boat, and they pulled us to the port. So, you live with positivity. You try to make fun of situations, even of yourself. What happened with me today, it was the least thing that I was expecting with my stockings. But I learned to laugh, and it's a story I'm sure I will be sharing. So let's laugh at our faults. So what? You live with positivity, and you pass it on. Positivity is contagious. Yes, we laugh at our flaws. I hope I answered you, Tony.
Hi, Anita. I missed the fun part. I have a question. Mary Sam from New York. Do you have any daily exercise? Because I knew that stopping the possibility reaction is called majorly from maybe depression and anxiety.
Yes.
Do you have any exercise for us?
I have plenty, and I'll tell you.
To release and recognize, to find out our, depression and anxiety.
You know what causes depression? What causes depression is living in the past. Worrying or even thinking about things which happened, because each and every time you go to your past mistakes, you're not just remembering, you are reliving it. You're getting your whole organism to respond to that as if it's happening at the moment. Number one rule, live in the present moment, don't go back. Number two, love yourself. Number three, be grateful for everything in your life. The white areas are what we need to be grateful for. Even the smallest of things, the most important things, our eyesight, the way we talk, the way we communicate, the fact that the sun rises. Somebody mentioned here the sunrise. Why do we take that for granted? There's so many things we shouldn't take for granted. So many little things. And yet we're busy worried about a traffic jam or whatever. So this is what we need to do, the little exercises every morning before we leave. While I'm driving, I'm grateful for the life I have. I'm grateful for everything I have. Concentrate on the positives and you'll see, it's amazing.
Is there more question there?
Hello, Sean Williams from Orlando, Florida. Thank you for coming. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit to vision, personal vision, and overcoming obstacles to achieve personal vision? What keeps you? How does one stay motivated and focused?
Of course. I'll tell you something. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. The biggest emotion, human emotion, do you know what that is? What is it that really the biggest? And don't tell me love. It's not love. Fear, exactly. What stops us mainly from achieving our dreams and going for what we believe is fear. And what is the major fear is fear of failure, fear of judgment. This is what we're scared of. You know, we are fear of failure. And fail is nothing but first attempt in learning. Never forget that. I'll tell you what, those who have made it will tell you, no success is accidental. Successful people, ask anyone, there is no luck involved. Don't believe in that. You could be lucky a sale or two, you could be lucky a day or two, but you cannot be lucky over a period of a career, lifetime of a career. It's all about going on. It's all about failing and rising again. Because if we do not fail, it means we're not trying anything new. It means we're still in our comfort zone. Everything that happens, if I decided that I was afraid of that flight and the connecting and the airports, I don't know how I'm going to go back, okay? But if I decided I still wanted to be in my room, in my clinic, which is like 128 square feet, yeah, and one person in front of me, if I decided to still do that, I wouldn't be here. So we have to face our fears, we have not to worry about failure, and we have to believe in us. And this is what gives us the determination. This is what gives us motivation. And motivation, everything is here. You may get from others, but if you have that drive, be afraid of what you wish, because nobody can stop you then. No one. Trust me on that. Any more questions? Okay, thank you.
I'd like to thank Anita again.
That concludes this program. For additional information on the $1 Million Roundtable products and services, contact the Marketing and Communications Department at 847-692-6378 or visit the web at www.mdrtstore.org.